Okay, so we are starting chapter 4. A lot of chapter 4 we've already done before, so this should be a review for you guys. Chapter 4 is dealing with rates and ratios and predominantly proportions. Then we're going to do percent of change and then probability. All right, so the only really new thing is compound probabilities. I don't think we did that last year at all, compound probabilities. But we've done all the rest of this stuff in 7th grade. So I'm hoping that this stuff is going to be a bit of a review for you. All right, so let's take a look at Chapter 4, Section 1. So today is the 10th. We are working on Chapter 4, Section 1. All right, we're going to start. This section is called Ratios and Proportions. We are going to be dealing with proportions starting tomorrow. We're going to deal with rates and ratios today. Okay. When we talk about a ratio is the comparison of two quantities using division. So essentially, it's a fraction of data. All right. For example, if I want to write a ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys in our room. Again, we did this last year. All right, this 2, that is our division bar. That 2 is our division bar. Or, if we wrote it with a colon, it's our colon. So the stuff before the division bar is our numerator, the stuff after the division bar is our denominator. So this would be the number of girls, colon, the number of boys. That's one way we write it. But as a fraction, it's the number of girls divided by the number of boys. This is how, if you're blowing your nose, use disinfectant on your hands, please. So it's the fraction. So in our class, if we have 7 girls, we have 9 boys, our ratio would be 7 over 9. We're comparing boys to girls. All right. We're going to be spending more time on rates. All right, when we talk about a rate, the one thing about ratios is the data is usually the same units in ratios. The data is usually the same units. Here we're dealing with, even though it's boys and girls, we're dealing with people. All right, it's the same information. It's the same units. The number of humans that are girls, number of humans that are boys. I know that seems like an odd thing to say, but that's what it is. All right, I could do the number of wins to the number of losses. The number of games you win to the number of games you lose. We're comparing games. Jack, you're writing this up down, sweetheart? All right, when we talk about rates, rates are ratios. So they are ratios, all right, but they are ratios where the units are completely different. So a rate might be 320 miles in 2.5 hours. All right, this in is your division bar. So I would write 320 miles over 2.5 hours. That is a rate. How many of you guys remember us writing rates? Awesome. Now, we typically don't really use rates. We use more unit rates. But when we identify rates in story problems, we're really identifying unit rates in story problems. So a unit rate is just a rate where the denominator is one of our denominator units, where denominator is a 1. Unit, whatever that unit is. So an example of a unit rate might be 60 miles per hour. That's 60 miles per 1 hour. Somebody give me another example of a unit rate. You can use anything you want. Colin? Sure. 8 glasses per 1 dishwasher. Because I'm looking at the number of glasses that I can put in one tray in the dishwasher, right? Absolutely. That would be a unit rate. Yeah. Yeah, so if you have a whole bunch of people, like if you are with your friends and you're making cookies for Christmas to give to ladies of charity, right? And you are expecting each of you, if there are 10 of you and you need 120 dozen cookies, batches of cookies, then each of you have to make 12 batches, so 12 batches per person. Does that make sense? Yep. All right, so that's a good one as well. So it's our numerator information can be any number. The denominator has to be one of those units. All right. So what I want to talk about now is figuring out how we use rates and unit rates. All right. So let's talk about changing a rate into a unit rate. All right. Again, we did this last year. So let's talk about changing rates to unit rates. Let's talk about how we do it and then why we do it. So if I took our example of 320 miles in 2.5 hours, that really doesn't mean anything to me, does it? I mean, 320 miles in 2.5 hours, does that mean we're going really fast or really slow? Can you guys know? I mean, we don't really know, do we? All right, but if I change this into a unit rate, won't that give me my speed? How many miles per 1 hour? That makes more sense, doesn't it? That's information you can be like, oh yeah, you were driving really fast. Or you can be like, no, you were driving super slow. This rate does not mean much to you. The unit rate will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my given as a rate. So write given as a rate. All right, then do the division. All right, so I'm going to just do this division. So 320 divided by 2.5 is going to give me 128 miles per hour. Okay, so I was driving really fast, right? That makes sense. This information makes sense to us. All right, so we first started with a rate, we did the division, it turned into a unit rate. All right, let's talk about why we even care, like what we would ever use this for. Again, we did some of this last year. So how many of you guys, and you'll remember this conversation last year if you were here, how many of you guys' parents shop at Costco? Do you remember this conversation? Okay. So you're trying to decide, and when you head to college, my daughter is going to be moving out on her own next year. She's going to be in an apartment. So she's going to have a budget of what she needs, that she's allowed to spend every week or month on food, okay? She has discovered ramen noodles. Do you guys know what ramen noodles are? Can I not talk to the back of your head? Thank you. Do you guys know what ramen noodles are? They're like those little packets, you know, that you can put in water and they kind of turn into soup, or you can turn them just into noodles. Okay, she's found those and they're really inexpensive. All right, so those are things that a college student, a lot of times they will buy those because they're super easy to make and they're cheap. All right, so the question becomes, where do you think is the best place to buy them? Okay, so it's comparison shopping. All right, so we can use unit rates to compare costs. All right, so we're going to use unit rates to compare costs of an item at different stores. Yes? It's going to have you do problems like this. It's going to say, what is the better buy, is what they might say. All right, so let's take a look. So let's say that we are talking about ramen noodles. Ramen noodle packs. All right, let's say that at Kroger, they come in packs of 4. And let's say that they are $2.80 for a pack of 4. Let's say that you guys go to Meijer and we have pack of 6. All right. And let's say they are $3.72. And then let's say we go to Costco. And let's say we've got a pack of 12. And let's say it's $7 and, hang on. 68 cents. So this is the cost of a 4-pack at Kroger, a 6-pack at Meijer, and a 12-pack at Costco. And what we want to know is which store has the better deal. Put your hand down, because you can't possibly know right now off the top of your head, and you're not going to guess. So for us to do this, we need to compare their unit prices. That means the cost for 1 pack. I need to compare all of those. All right. So we're just going to set up our information. So here's my Kroger. Somebody write that cost of 4 packs as a rate. Remember, I want the cost per 1 pack. So how do I write 4 packs are $2.80 as a rate? Peter? I want, when I'm done, I want cost per pack. So $2.80 over 4 packs. So think about the format in which you need your unit rate. Cost, money in the numerator, per 1 pack, number of packs in my denominator. All right, somebody write my rate for Meijers. Somebody write my rate for Meijers. Isabella? Excellent. So $3.72 over 6 packs. If you notice, I'm putting the units on them, so I make sure that I write it right. All right, somebody write my Costco rate for me? Serena? Excellent. All right, I didn't tell you guys to grab your calculators. I would, from now on, I'm going to put a list up. From now on, grab your calculators. I'm going to remind you what number you are in case you've forgotten. So let me do that division for you. So $2.80 divided by 4 is 0.70, so 70 cents per pack. $3.75 divided by 6 is going to give me 62 cents per pack. Chris, you're writing this down? $7.68 divided by 12 is going to give me 0.64, so 64 cents per pack. So which store, if you're getting a lot of these, which store is the better buy? Jacob? Meyer. How many of you guys would not expect that? Yeah, I mean, typically Costco should be, but those big box stores are not always. All right? A lot of times they are better if you want bulk. Sometimes it's less expensive, sometimes it's not. All right, the only way to know is to look at the unit cost. So this is what it would ask, Chris. It would say which store has the better buy or which size is the better value, something like that. Okay? Chris, yes? Okay, I'm just making sure you're listening to me because you asked me the question, is this what it's going to ask me, right? I just want to make sure you understand what the problem might actually be saying. Are you writing your homework down right now? Yeah, why don't you wait till we're done with notes? You can do it at the end of the class. Okay, because I'd like you to be listening. Questions on this? How many of you guys remember doing this? All right, so this is one use for unit rates. So it's comparing costs of things to see what is the better buy. Okay, yeah. Yeah, money will, 99% of the time money will be on top. How many of you guys parents go to Kroger? Okay, how many of you guys parents go to Kroger for gas? Because they have a gas station at some of the Krogers. Oh, the one over in Troy has it. How many of you guys have parents that go to Costco for gas? Okay, so for you to compare those, you know, you could just look at their unit rates. Like that's what you're comparing. You'd be like, well, what is the cost after your discount at Kroger? What is the cost per gallon? And then compare to the cost per gallon for Costco. All right, so when you're comparison shopping, you're always doing the cost for one thing. That's a unit rate, okay? The other use for unit rates is something that I know you totally dig, and you're all going to need your calculators for this. So my front row, go grab your calculators. What do you suppose I'm going to tell you right now is what we're going to be working on that I know you guys cannot stand? Oh, no, not fractions. Yes, they are fractions. But what work do you guys are like, oh gosh, I hate doing this? That's going to be using unit rates. No. Nope. How about conversion factors? Oh. All right, my side and middle row, go grab your calculator. We are going to be doing conversion factor work. All right, the rest of you go grab your calculators, please. All right, so we were using unit rates to compare prices of things. What's going on? Why are you guys just standing there? I will have a list tomorrow just to make sure everyone knows what number they are. Okay, for now, just grab and go. All right, I think I have 7. I think 7 was glitchy. I do have 12. I fixed 12. By the way, do not change the color of the screen. Do not change the darkness on the screen. Somebody's got to me yesterday. It was so dark people couldn't see what they were typing. So don't mess around with these calculators. All you're doing right now is calculating on this. Do you guys understand? Do not mess around with the calculators. Next time that happens, so that's this. So if you hit that, that will happen. Just go hit graph and then hit clear. And it will So now what we're going to do is we're going to use unit rates as conversion factors. We're going to be using unit rates as conversion factors. What I'll do is I'm just going to, I don't know why, but I hit graph and then hit clear and then we'll go back. Can you see how dark that is? See how it's dark there? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So if I hit second, so let's think about what I'm talking about. So when we talk about conversion factors, that's like 12 inches in 1 foot. Give me another conversion factor. It's a relationship. These are equivalent units. It's just that one is in one unit, one's in another. Chris? Yep, 3 feet in 1 yard. And if you notice, I'm writing this as a fraction. Colin? 24 hours, 1 day, absolutely. There's one for sure you have to know. Well, these you have to know. 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Now, the one thing about these conversion factors that is not true about regular rates, all right? These conversion factors, they all can be written as its reciprocal, and it doesn't change anything. All right, so conversion factors can be written as reciprocals, and the value does not change. And that is not true of all rates or all fractions, because it means something of the information, the numerator and the denominator. Here it doesn't. Why? Why can I write 12 inches over 1 foot, and that's the same thing as 1 foot over 12 inches? Why can I do that? Jacob? Because these two are equal. All right, I can do that because 1 foot equals 12 inches. This is a version of 1. So 1 foot over 12 inches really equals 1. They are exactly the same. They are just different units. So I'm not changing the value of it. Where 1/2 is not the same thing as 2 over 1. That's a totally different value. But because 1 inch is the same, 1 foot is the same thing as 12 inches, I can write it either way. Are you guys okay with that? You guys okay with that? Okay. So let's just do a problem. I'm going to do an easy one, and then we're going to do a harder one. The process is the same, so please understand the process behind this. So here's my example. I want to change you may have to look up conversion factors, by the way. Like, you may have to look up how many ounces are in a pound. Like, you might actually have to get in the book and look that up, just letting you know. So let's say that I have 3,520 inches. I'm going to do a super easy one, just to kind of warm us up. And I want to change this into miles. 35,020. I know I said something totally different. So 35,020 inches, I want to figure out what that is in miles. All right, so I'm first going to write down my conversion factors. I need to go from inches to feet, and then I need to go from feet to miles. What is the relationship between inches and feet? What is the relationship, Victoria? Yep, so I have 12 inches in 1 foot. What's the relationship between feet and miles? This is one you guys just have to remember. What's the relationship between feet and miles, Peter? Yep, 5,280 feet in 1 mile. We're going to do one conversion at a time. So I'm going to take my given, 35,020 inches. I'm going to keep my units on that, and I'm going to make it into a fraction over 1. I'm going to multiply. We always multiply. So we always multiply by conversion factors. That's why they're called factors. Remember, factors go with multiplication. So we always multiply by our conversion factor. I need my inches to divide out. So where do my inches need to be in my conversion factor? We don't change our given. Serena? In the denominator. So I'm just going to put my 12 inches in my denominator, which means my 1 foot goes in my numerator. Please put units on these. How do I know that I set that up right? Come on. How do I know that Serena set that up right? Matthew. Yep, my inches divide out. Now, I have 35,020 times 1 foot. Multiply my numerators, multiply my denominators. 1 times 12 is just 12. I'm going to leave it like that for now, and then I'm going to finish. Now I need to change my feet to miles. So now, what am I going to do? What am I going to multiply my new given by? Ava? Excellent. How do I know, Chris, that she did that right? How do I know she set the feet up right? Yep, my feet divide out, so I know I did that right. So now I'm going to take my calculator. All right, my numerator simply stays because 35,020 times 1 is just 35,020. My units are miles. So then I have to do 5,280 times 12. That's going to give me 63,360. There's no units on that. Now, do the division. I want my answer as a unit rate. Answer as unit rate. So, I'm just going to do 35020 divided by 63360. I get 50.5527 ... So I'm going to say approximately 0.55 miles. This is all the work I should expect to see. Let's go through that work again. First of all, figure out what conversion factors you need and write them down. That is a requirement for me. So figure out what conversion factors you need and write them down. Then write your given as a fraction. Since it's only just inches, I just put my inches that amount over 1. Then I multiply by one of my conversion factors to start changing my units. How many of you guys remember doing this last year? Okay, so let me give you guys a harder one. The process is still the same. Who needs to see what's up there? Okay. Do not skip any part of that process, please. All right, so a cheetah, God bless you. A cheetah ran 300 feet in 2.92 seconds. What is the cheetah's speed? You're writing this down, Colin. I don't know why you're zoning out here, child. Okay, I don't mind doodling as long as it's not interfering with you writing stuff down. So what is the cheetah's speed in miles per hour. So this one is a little bit more entailed because I have to change feet to miles and I have to change hours to seconds. So now I have units in the numerator that I'm changing and units in the denominator that I'm changing. All right, so let's think about our conversion factor work. What is the relationship between feet and miles? What's the relationship between feet and miles? Ashton? Excellent. 5,280 feet per 1 mile. All right, I'm not making up my own conversion factor between seconds and hours. So I need seconds to minutes and then minutes to hours. So what's the relationship between seconds and minutes? Kaylee? Excellent. 60 seconds in 1 minute. Now I need minutes to hours. What's the relationship between minutes and hours? Isabel? Excellent. So now I just need to write my given as a rate. All right, so first of all, write given as a rate or a fraction. So this is going to be 300. Now I want miles per hour. So that means that my feet have to go in my numerator because I need my distance in my numerator, miles. My time needs to go in my denominator because I want miles per hour, and I have feet per second. It does not matter whether you start with your distance first or your time first. So what do you guys want to change first? Colin, what would you like to change? Time. So you're going to go from seconds to minutes. Okay? So what am I going to multiply our given by to change from seconds to minutes? How do I know that Colin set that up right? How do I know that he set that multiplication, that we can't change our given? This has to be distance over time because that's what our unit rate needs to be. How do I know that that rate, that the conversion factor was written right? Blythe? My seconds divide out. All right, go ahead and do that math. Let's come up with our new given. So multiply your numerators. So I end up with 18,000. My units on that is feet. I multiplied my numerators. Then I multiply my denominators. So that's going to end up being 2.92 minutes. So I now change my seconds to minutes. Well, let's finish our time by changing from our minutes to hours. Somebody tell me what to do from here. Go ahead. Over one what? 1 hour. Leave your units on those, please. How do I know that Victoria set that up right? Sam, how do I know that she set that up right with my units on my conversion factor? Excellent. Our minutes cancel out. All right, so do that multiplication. So remember, you're multiplying your numerator, you're multiplying your denominators. So I end up with that obnoxiously long number, 108, and then 4 zeros. How many of you guys got that same thing? Awesome. Feet over, because that's what's left in my numerator, units is feet, and the hours is what's left in my denominator, 2.92 times 1. Now what? I've changed my time. Now what do I need to do? Serena? Excellent. I want to change my feet to miles. So I'm going to multiply. Don't forget, you need to show that multiplication symbol. And you put your miles in the numerator, right? So I have 1 mile over 5,280 feet. Again, don't forget to show the multiplication. You need to show multiplication there. So now I have that obnoxiously long number in the numerator. Feet. Nope, my feet go away. My feet divide out, so I'm left with miles in my numerator. And then I have 5,280 times 2.92. And I end up with 15,417.6 hours in my denominator. How many of you guys got that? Now what? Or am I done? Jacob? Yeah, do the division. Do the division. Remember, I want a unit rate as my denominator. So it's 108.1234 divided by 15,417.6. Always check your numbers when you're done to make sure you put the right stuff in. What did you guys get as your speed in miles per hour? Ava? Yes. Yeah, 70.05. So this would be miles per hour. Probably I would just say about 70, right? Would you agree? Yeah, so I would say about 70 miles per hour. So this process is the same no matter what you're doing. So let's walk through the process again. The first thing I did is I made note of what units I need to change. I needed to change feet to miles, so I need that conversion factor. I needed to change seconds to hours. I need 2 conversion factors for that. All right, Colin wanted to start by changing our time first. You could have changed your distance first. It doesn't matter which one you start with. We always set our given up as a rate. Pay attention to what order the information needs to go in. Miles has to go in the numerator, so feet's in the numerator. Hours is in the denominator, answer, so seconds is in our denominator. And then we multiply by the conversion factors. Always leave your units on when you're doing conversion factor work so you can see that the seconds divide out, that the minutes divide out, that the feet divide out. All right, you always multiply your numerators together, multiply your denominators together until you get to the very end, and then do the division. You guys cool with this? You guys cool? All right, that's it. Please pay attention to the work necessary for doing this stuff.